Hi, this is Stephen Lynn, the principal of Fort Zeller Elementary School. We are here for our 10th episode of We're All in This Together. As you know, this series was put together to give all of our parents, our families, and our students an inside glimpse to the life of our teachers. Oftentimes, teaching is a performing job. It is a job where we as teachers get out in front and we are presenting knowledge, hoping our kids pick that up. But oftentimes we forget that behind those names that are commenting on Seesaw are human beings. And right now, for all of the parents out there, you are helping us with our work of preparing our students for the next grade level. And we think it's important that you know that there are real frustrations on our side, there are real blessings, and there are real causes for celebration. And to join us today, kind of a change up from our past interviewees, we have somebody representing us, our school from the special standpoint. We have Mr. Babiarz here. Mr. Babiarz, will you wave and say hello? Hi, everybody. So, Mr. Babiarz, you are our PE teacher. And, I think this is an interesting interview because when I think of PE, I'm thinking of a particular setting, whether it's outside or inside in the gym. I definitely don't think about remote learning. I don't think about executing a PE lesson over the computer. How are you making sense of it? How are you making adjustments? What are your takeaways? Are there some pretty cool takeaways in the last few weeks? And what are the lingering frustrations? What do you miss about the old days?
I'll start with what I miss, and it's probably what everybody misses, and that's seeing 20-some 6, 7, and 8-year-olds come down to the gym, and they're raring to go and excited and fist bumping everybody and having a great class and getting them moving. The beauty of it for me is we have so many great families that have been doing our activities, and I'm still getting to at least see those things even in a virtual sense, where I've gotten so many great videos and pictures of families exercising together and videos of kids doing my activities and moving in their family room or basement or backyard. And but certainly the energy of children and being able to do that as a group together is what you most miss. But it's been great that it's not just text comments back and forth through Seesaw. There is an element of being able to see faces and see live videos and kids saying hello and me sending voice messages to them so we can hear and see each other. That's been really cool. I think the other thing is the adjustment for me has been, how do you offer physical education that might be limited to the confines of somebody's living room? Right. And what I've tried to do is sort of adapt what we do in the gym to something that can work at home. And I hope that that's something that our parents appreciate. And I know they've seen it, and I've gotten some great feedback and some energy from them too, where my kids are doing things we did in the gym this year, catching and throwing and doing locomotor skills and playing games. But I've tried to modify them where they can do that in a small space that's safe, where they're not going to be banging something off the ceiling and still be able to have fun and move and get healthy exercise too. We've done some fitnessy things at home. Probably the biggest development for me has been putting my technology skills to the test and, being able to create a lesson that it's almost like they're with me, the children. So I've done a lot of recording of myself talking to the kids and then melding in some videos so that they can follow along. I think that's been my biggest development, my biggest success so far is finding this way of teaching a lesson where kids feel like they're in the classroom, and video has been for me the best way to offer that. And I'm hoping that on the other end of the screen, the kids feel like they are seeing their teacher and they are in class sort of, even though it's at home.
I think that's a good point. And you and I were talking off camera about the children in costumes. You want to tell us about the role of creativity and maybe that particular activity and how that kind of came about? I think that's a great example of everything you just mentioned, everything from creativity to being mindful of the setting that our children are in at home on the other side of the screen, as you said, and trying and tapping really challenging your technology skills.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, because you know a lot of families don't get to see all the submissions you end up with.
Yeah, it's hundreds of submissions, and I make a point to respond to every submission I get, and I teach over at Jackson Elementary as well, so it's 550 students. So I spend a lot of time trying to give that feedback to kids and connect with them and their families. You know, I've been looking at resources. I spend tons of time trying to say, how does phys ed transition itself to people's homes? And the way I've done it is I've tried to put myself as the instructor in the lessons, the teacher, and that I can talk to my students. But I've found resources that some of them are video resources, some of them are other materials, and then I've been able to sort of meld me in a video with some other things. And this week was a fun one. I thought I found it's called Tabata. It's a high intensity exercise, and then you get a short break. Almost, it's like a fitness class, but it was at a really fun, like young kids level. It was all the Avengers, superhero characters doing different exercises. So I introduced them. We all practiced the exercises with me, and then when I felt like the kids would know how to do them, then I said, all right, now here comes the video, and they were able to try it. And I have to thank the moms and dads, and I get nanas and pop-pops and all those helping with submissions back, saying, hey, I videotaped them. They make those videos so that I can see what the kids have done. And yeah, I had kids in full Black Panther costumes, and they're doing high intensity exercise, doing punches and high knee running and all that. And you know, I've seen Batman and Iron Man, and but it was neat for me because it also tells me that my big hope, and hopefully for people at home too, is I know kids need this. My goal in phys ed is to send something home on my day each week that gets them good exercise, that gets them moving, and still learning the skills that we've learned, motor skills. But probably just as importantly, I'm really happy that I'm seeing that maybe this is a bright spot in their day. It's a hard time for children and for families, including ours. And when I'm getting feedback that they had so much fun, or man, this was their favorite thing they did today, that's really the best feedback for me. And I mean that in a very sincere sense. Is I want phys ed to be something that the kids, they just enjoyed it, and there's a place for that in online schooling and brick and mortar schooling. Of the gym should be a place, and exercise should be a thing where they have a blast, and especially when you're in kindergarten through 2, you should be loving it. And I've gotten so many neat things sent to me from parents and even kids themselves, setting up their iPad to videotape themselves doing their exercises, playing their throwing game, their dogs walking through the video and interrupting, but you can tell it's a light part of their day. It's a place for enjoyment, and that means a great deal to me in the position that I teach for kids. Yeah.
Well, you can argue if students feel like they can dress themselves up and participate and then video themselves and send it to you, there's a certain level of comfort with you, which is great. As the principal, you know, knowing that our children feel comfortable with their teachers, that's fantastic. And the fact that they would go that extra step to engage in their own creativity, dress up and participate. So those are the hidden messages that are very uplifting that teachers can take away from those kinds of submissions. And of course, our parents are instrumental, our families are instrumental in helping with the tech piece and turning it in. So that's fantastic. The role of fitness in schools is undisputed. We know that academics is important. When we think about schools, we think about, oftentimes, immediately think about math, reading, science, social studies. But fitness, healthy lifestyle, learning skills, both that impact your gross and fine motor skills. Those really impact quality of life. What is the role and mission in your eyes of PE in schools, and more specifically in remote learning schools?
First and foremost for me is you hear teachers say developing a love of learning or reading or whatever their subject area is. And for me, my whole career in phys ed, it's 22 years of that now, is developing a love of exercise and movement. And that, honestly, that might be fitnessy activities, but it might also be that I've learned how to throw underhand or catch a ball. But I've learned it in a fun way where I want to do those things all the time. Exercise is great, but you have to develop a love for doing those things, because then hopefully our kids have a chance as they get older that they enjoy doing that. They pursue it on their own. I've tried to always shy away from some school programs in phys ed are very fitnessy, and we have a lot of high school students that are on machines, and I'm a big believer in we have to keep the fun in movement. We have our whole adult lives to get on elliptical machines. When you're young, activity should be things that excite you and create enjoyment. And so my challenge with online phys ed has been, we learned a lot of skills in gym class. We played a lot of games that got kids moving. Can I sort of create something at home where they remember that skill, we practice it for a minute, and then they can do something that's a game at home using those skills or movements. Certainly we put exercises in there too, but they have to be things that create joy. And as someone, and I know a lot of people can relate to this, as someone who's exercised and been involved in sports and physical activities my whole life, it's a meaningful part of my life because there's joy in it. It's great. And that's what I try to really pump our youngest kids up about. When they come to the gym, I'm their biggest fan. I'm their biggest cheerleader to make sure that movement is an awesome part of their day.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something I respect every time I pop into your classroom. There is, for the same reason I push for literacy. You know, the biggest bang for your buck is just reading to your kids, so that your kids can associate reading with love and trust and enjoyment. It is very evident when you go into PE class at Fort Zeller. Children are associating working on physical skills, fitness, all of that with warmth and creativity and positive enjoyment. I think there's certainly no doubt that you're achieving that, and I'm sure that has built capital and credit for you as we go online, because the very sight of your face is going to be associated with warmth and enjoyment and enthusiasm and positive feelings. Now, what about you as a dad? You are a human being, and this is one important part of the series is, you know, you also have school-age children, and therefore your children's teachers are pushing stuff out online, and you have to help manage that as a father. Well, you and your wife together as a team. So, how's that life been? What's been the challenges? What are the adjustments, and perhaps what are the silver linings?
Yeah, I think I have a unique perspective because I'm an elementary K-2 teacher. My wife is a first grade teacher for years, and we have a 6th grader, a 2nd grader, and we have a 4-year-old who's in preschool. And the thing that I can hopefully pass on to our parents is it's the same set of challenges that probably everybody experiences. And for us, we have very good kids, and they're very self-directed. I think we're really proud of them in that regard. But from our end, it's the same stressors that probably exist for my students' parents, and that is, right, there's a login for your WebEx meetings. There's a login for this IXL reading and math program, and it's amazing that my 2nd grader, my daughter, is able to manage all those things, and I have no idea what I'm doing in it. And I'm a teacher, and but she says, all right, I have to do my math. It's on IXL, and I go, where is that in the app, or is this? So probably those same login issues and the confusion that I'm sure, our parents experience with all these things. Absolutely. Even being teachers, my wife and I have them too. And my son's on Schoology, which is a whole separate platform. And, we're juggling, my laptop and her laptop, and we have an iPad, but we have one of us is taking the 4-year-old and keeping him happy while, we wait for the iPad to come available for the other one to get on for their activity. And meanwhile, we're also working full time as all of our parents are trying to make it happen. So, no, it's a challenge. Our approach is we just try to we do it with staying together. I work on my classroom stuff in the same room as my son and daughter. They're at the desk, and we kind of made it a work room. And I think that is, you talked about silver linings. One of the silver linings for us is, we've all kind of gotten into this groove of, hey, mom and dad are over there doing their work with their students, but they're available and I can ask them, but I'm also working at the desk, and it's almost like a family effort where we're all working together, but we're available to each other. And I said to a colleague this morning that it's difficult, and it's difficult if you're working or not working for sure, but trying to make the most that the family time has been something I do value. I cherish it, that for a number of weeks now, being with your family and spending that time together, that is one good outcome of all this.
Absolutely. And I'm sure your experience has, at home, has influenced and informed some of the way you approach being a teacher online.
Yeah, and I have to say that probably, and when I knew we were going to talk and maybe even to communicate to our parents at home, I'm a big believer from my end as the teacher. The things that I send home, one of my goals has been to be reasonable, and especially as a parent and my kids are doing stuff, I want to find that sweet spot for phys ed or for whatever subject somebody teaches, where I believe in sending home something that's doable, that doesn't require the parent to be running an entire activity. And I hope that that's something that from the other end, our families are experiencing, where I want to be in that sweet spot where I'm giving you a 15 to 20 minute activity. By and large, it's a video where the kids can follow along with me, where the parent doesn't have to sort of teach them through it. I'm there to teach, that's my job. And I'm hoping that I'm making our family's jobs a little easier by making it a more follow along. Your teacher is here. As a parent, I appreciate that too. And occasionally I'll see assignments for my kids where it's a very parent intensive sort of thing. And my goal has been to make it where we maybe can take a little pressure off of our parents, because if I'm there video ways or in some way that I can interact with the kids, I can be their teacher in that home setting, where they can just follow me. And I know certainly all of my colleagues, that's a big goal as well, and they're doing a great job of it.
Yeah, I think collegiality and teamwork are big themes just among our staff, and certainly has been expressed on this series as well. I think people don't realize how much you also take that upon yourself to help out and alleviate some of the stresses even among your colleagues. A lot of for our families who are listening, Mr. Babiarz and the specials teachers really spearheaded a lot of the PBIS assemblies earlier this year, and also the video that got a lot of views, where it was a slideshow with all of the teachers with positive, encouraging messages. That was something that Mr. Babiarz, with help from colleagues, really put together, and it was outstanding. And we hope that it was uplifting. I think that was our goal, was to be an uplifting force for our families and our children. Yeah. So what words of encouragement might you have for our families who are watching? You and I have talked, a lot of kids are really missing their teachers. and they're missing the school life just as much as we are, and they may be having trouble expressing it, and they may express it in different ways. Of course, that adds stress on our parents and families. What words of encouragement as a father and as a teacher and as someone invested in Elko, what words of encouragement might you have for our families?
I'm living the same reality as all of them, and the things that in my household we use as encouragement are, at some point we are going to be back in school, but the beauty of what we're doing right now is we can interact and we can see each other, and it's the same as people are FaceTiming with their families, and those same challenges are what we're doing in school right now, and a video lesson or a Zoom meeting is our chance to still see each other and connect with each other, and hopefully we're all in this together. And the job there, though, is that we all have to pick each other up, and just for our parents to know our students pick us up as often as much as we pick them up. When we get parents who send us things in of their children achieving goals and having fun and showing that spirit, that's what really builds us up too. So I think the biggest advice is look at it as a two-direction thing, that hopefully we're having a presence for kids, and we're going to be there for them, and if they need us, we're there for them, but equally knowing that they're giving us as much energy as we're sending their way, and that hopefully is, our society needs that at the moment,
I think that's a great way to end. When it comes to motivation and energy, there's a symbiotic cycle of leaning on each other. It's not one directional, and 100% agree with you. The stuff that our teachers put out gets validated by the stuff that our kids return back to us. And it doesn't even have to be that schoolwork or even participating in your activity. I think sometimes those really sweet messages that we get really nourish us. Just recently, I saw a video where a student was just excited because we had gone back to the mindful minute, I felt it right here. And I'm sure that when you see kids participating in your activities, that's validation to the work that you put in, and it's encouraging for you to continue to do that. And of course, if they're in Avengers costumes, that's just kind of
that's a bonus, right?
Yeah. So for all of our viewers, thank you so much for joining us again for our 10th episode. So that's a milestone. Thank you, Mr. Babiarz, for joining us for that 10th episode. This episode, as well as all previous and future episodes, will be posted, or they are posted on our Principal Fort Zeller YouTube channel. And then our incredible PTO has offered, and they've continued to post it on the Facebook page that they run, which is the Fort Zeller PTO Facebook page. So please check out this. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to learn a little bit more about some of our other fantastic colleagues, go ahead and scroll up and down and check out some of the other teachers that we've already interviewed. Mr. Babiarz, do you have any parting words, or good?
Thank you for all you do, Mr. Lynn, and our PTO and our parents. We have an amazing group at Fort Zeller, and in the time I've been here, just incredible support, and thank you so much for all of your help with our online teaching and supporting the kids. It's invaluable to us, and we appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. All right, until next time, have a good one.
Bye, everyone.